Hello everyone, this is Anil Khwaj. I'm a registered migration agent and co-founder of ThinkHack Consultants. Today we'll be talking about the employer nomination scheme, which is also called as 186 work visa. Now it's a permanent visa where if you have certain years of skilled employment or experience, then you can apply for a direct PR. But for this, you require employer sponsor or an employer who can sponsor you. Now, employer can be a company, employer can be a self-employed under an ABN setup, but you must need to ensure that you meeting your own requirements, and there are some caveats with the employer the sponsor needs to meet as well. Now let's talk one by one what exactly the 186 visa is, how many streams this visa have it, and what are the requirements. So we'll go one by one with each of the stream, and if you have any questions you can put in the comment box. My team would happy to reply you as early as we get the comments. Any questions you can also shoot us an email at melbourne@thinkhire.com.au. So let's talk about the 186 now. As I said, it's an employer nomination scheme, which is one of the most common visas to apply for a permanent residency if you have got a 482 work visa, or you can go with a direct stream. There's another stream called the labor agreement, which we also discuss in due course. So let's first talk about the direct stream. Now, employer nomination scheme 186 offers you a direct stream in order to apply for PR directly. So this means that you have more requirements to meet, but it's a direct PR. So you don't need to wait for another 2-3 years in order to meet the temporary transition requirements in order to apply for PR. Now, what exactly the direct stream is? The first and the foremost requirement is you must have a positive skill assessment. Now, positive skill assessment, you require a certain set of skills in the English in order to get a positive outcome from the skill assessment body. Now, we have already discussed about the skill assessment bodies. There are heaps of skill assessment bodies. So each set of occupations have their own skill assessment body. So have to meet their own requirements as well. For instance, if you go in ACS, if you're offshore, you need minimum 2 years of offshore experience. Similarly, if you're onshore, then you require only 1 year of post-study experience or professionally programmed. Similar with the CPA or IPA, if you're an accountant, then you require minimum 7 each with a qualification that will do for you. You don't require any experience. So this all you need to contact migration agent or specialized expert in the skill assessment procedures who can apply your skill assessment and get you the positive outcome based on obviously subject to your skills in the English. Do watch out our skill assessment videos, especially the CPA one and MAC one and the Engineer Australia one. So do search to our YouTube channel. You'll find those videos. They are quite elaborative and we have given each and everything in detail how to apply it. There's another important video for the VETASs as well, which you can watch. We have got more than 40,000 views on that one. It's massive hit, so you must watch it. Now let's get back to the second requirement. The first we already discussed about the skill assessment. The second one is you must have English. Now, competent English is the requirement, so you need at least 50 in each module of Pearson test or equivalent 6 each in IELTS. Now, it can be academic or general, doesn't matter, but it needs to be minimum competent. Now, 3 years validity is there, so you don't need to worry. If you have done within the last 36 months, you can still use this English in order to apply. The third and the foremost is that you must have 3 years of post-study experience. Now, this is very important. Again, if your skill assessment has a requirement or experience and they're merging your experience, then you need on top 3 years more. For instance, I'll give you an example. ACS, again, ACS normally has a deemed date. So if they have merged 2 years of your experience with the qualification, then you need further 3 years in order to apply for 186. It means that you need a 5 years of experience. So this is very important. You need to understand. Now, once you have these 3 requirements, then you can apply for direct entry. But now the super important requirement is to have an employer. Now, employer needs to be an Australian company or an organization or an employer who works under an ABN setup as well. So company must have an ABN. Now, there are lots of caveats on each of the nominated occupation. For instance, if you are getting in 186 for an accountant, then you must need to have 2 caveats to meet first. The first one is that your employer must have more than a 1 million per year turnover. So if turnover is not more than 1 million, then you can unfortunately cannot apply. The second caveat is they must have at least 5 or more full-time employees. It can be any, but it has to be full-time employees, minimum 5. Now, apart from that, they also, have given a caveat that your nominated occupation should not be bookkeeping. So, accounts and payable and receivable is not the accountant general. So, you have to have a proper accounting duties. Position doesn't matter. Title can be accounts manager, accounts officer, junior accounts officer, accountant general. It can be any, but it's more about the JD. So, you need to perform as an accountant journal JDs. So that's one example, and then you can follow the rest with as per your skills and skill set and the skill assessment. So these, if you meet these caveats, then the employer is eligible to sponsor you. The good part with ENS is you don't require any labor market testing. There are few occupations where you require, but most of them don't require. So ENS is something very lucrative and a quicker process to do it comparatively to 482. Now you apply straight away, and then you wait for, first you have to do a nomination, then the visa application. In the nomination you have to nominate an occupation. Along with that, you have to submit the contract, job description, genuine position statement, statement of salary proposed, local market salary surveys, not the local LMT, but the salary surveys. You need to be there in order to ensure that you're paying the right market rate to that nominated occupation. At the moment, it's 70,000 plus as the minimum threshold, so you need to make sure that you're paying that one. Apart from that, your employer needs to be lawfully operating. They should not be in any loss. They should be earning enough in order to make sure that they are justifying the position. If they are not earning much, but their position can lead them to earn more, so they need to add a business plan or more contracts in order to make sure that this nomination gets approved. After that one, you can apply for visa application, and visa application require all these documents which we discussed regarding your eligibility, say experience, English, skill assessment, and so on and so forth. So this is how it's going to work it out. Now let's talk about the temporary transition stream. Now, temporary transition stream is also called as the 482 pathway to 186. So say if you're on a 482 visa and you have worked with an employer for last 2 years with the same employer, then you can straight away go with the 186. Now this requires you to have all the documents that you have worked with that employer. The good part is you don't require skill assessment for this one, though English is required, but again, you don't need to have the skill assessment along with the post 3 years experience. So 2 years of experience straight away leads to a 186 entry. This is called the temporary transition stream. You need to make sure that you have a competent English. The 4 TRT stream, you must need to know that you must need a competent English. So English is required. Apart from that, age is also a big factor, that you must not cross 45 years of age if you're going with the direct entry. Temporary transition stream still give an opportunity to apply in some circumstances, but again the threshold is also 45 years of age. So make sure that you lodge your TRT or direct stream prior to be reaching to 45 years of age. So that's very important. Apart from that, English level, we already talked about it. Your employee must be lawfully operating. They should not have any discrepancies. Apart from that, they are lawfully paying the skill levy training fee to the department. So generally what happens, even though if you go with the TRT stream or the direct stream, you have to pay a skill levy that is divided into two parts. If you have less than, I think, 10 million, then you have to pay 3,000 towards the training. That would be a part of the nomination application. You have to pay along with the nomination fee. But if you have more than 10 million of turnover, then you have to pay 5,000 fixed amount along with the nomination fee. So this is how it's going to work it out for the TRT. Now I hope that you'll find, so again, both options are good. TRT is easier because you have to meet the lesser requirement, but getting a TRT is tougher because 482 has a rigorous requirements to meet. You have to have a standard business sponsorship in order to get a 482, and then once you finish 2 years of the work experience after getting a 482, then only you would be able to apply for the temporary transition stream or TRT stream. So I hope that these two differences are quite clear now, and whenever you're lodging the application, you should keep this in mind. Apart from that, there's third stream which is called the labor agreement. The labor agreement is very interesting. Not many companies can get the labor agreement because they require an extensive documentation to submit, and generally the labor agreement has been given to the big companies. So generally the labor agreement is given to the big companies. For instance, if you require 500 600 people working under your company or at the workplace where require extensive labor or human resource, that's where you get the labor agreement. Along with that, once you have a labor agreement, then you can sponsor people with the lesser requirements. For instance, 1 year of experience will do, sometimes 6 months of experience also do. You can also nominate any of the occupations, regardless of it's in the STR list or MLTSL list. You can straight away apply, even though you can take from the ROL as well. So lots of drivers, even the blue collar jobs, you can still go with the labor agreement. Now, finding a labor agreement is tough. You have to first go to Department Home Affairs website, find the labor agreement companies, then contact them if they're happy to sponsor you under the labor agreement. Now, labor agreement direct stream is there. There is also a 482 stream is there, so it's completely on you. But generally, people go to the 482. They work with the employer for another 1 year, and then they go with the labor agreement stream for 186. English requirements are lesser. You only require 5 in each, or less, sometimes lesser as well. Depends on if your labor agreements have the English waiver, then you can have the waiver as well. But again, the age limit is pretty much the same. There are few age waivers as well, limit waivers as well, but that you need to discuss with the migration agent, where there is a high salary threshold is required in order to waive the age requirement. And I think that's pretty much it. Lots of states also, support labor agreement under the DAMA. So that is called the designated area, scheme, where they generally give you an opportunity. If you're under the labor agreement, they give you a DAMA scheme. You have further reduction of requirement, and ultimately it's going to be easier to apply for 482 and 186 for any of the nominated occupations. So I hope that I've cleared all three streams. Any questions, feel free to put in the comment box. I'm more than happy to make a second part of it. If you need more guidance about this one, I can do a live as well, where you can ask me whatever questions you may have it. My team is super good with the 482 and 186 applications. Recently, we have done lots, and we have got the results within a month time. One of the quickest one, we got 3 days time records manager. So it's unbelievable. So do contact me. I have done lots of DAMA labor agreements, nominated occupations as a childcare professionals, where they were team leads and they were working in NT for say 1 year, and they all got the 482s and 186. So do contact us. We are more than happy to assist you, but we don't assist finding employer. You have to find it, but then later, once you have an employer, my team is super efficient to process the documentation and everything for you. Hope that helps, and hope that if you are meeting the 186 requirement and you have an employer, then feel free to go for it. Don't wait for the journal skill migration to be happen if you are meeting the ENS, because it's quicker and easier, and you know the requirements, so you don't require any high points in order to meet the ENS requirement as well. All the very best, and we'll see you in the next video.